Hello.
All right, since I've only got 2 questions to go over today,
But if
we ain't gonna be long since nobody's sending any questions.
Canceled, so she gave us
So-
like a homework assignment to verify attendance, so we're doing it together. And if you're
That's
still-
another thing to get aggravated.
Did you get mine yesterday?
If I was one of these teachers that never did go over questions, y'all get mad. I give y'all an opportunity to send in questions and you don't even send in any.
This year, I understand.
Did you get
I guess
mine?
y'all just understand everything. So here's one that was sent in.
Okay.
Cosine of pi over 18, or pi over 18, times cosine of 4 pi over
Priority 1
9
message coming in on secured channel.
minus sine pi over 18
Please,
times
please.
sine of 4 pi over 9. Now they want you to simplify that. So that means they want you to look at your sheet and find a identity that looks like that and then condense it.
95% men. I have never felt that it's put me at any disadvantage whatsoever. Never.
In fact, I feel like there was an advantage. There is an advantage.
But we're blessed, especially in America. You know, you don't have much.
Hold on a minute, I gotta turn on the microphone.
Think about it, for a man to be good enough for you to marry.
Yeah, it really won't help you that much, but yeah.
Can you hear us now?
Sooner than women. So what the most men
Okay.
do is
Did you get my question as well from yesterday? I think I emailed it to you.
Question, I got an
life
email
insurance so
from you.
that you can live comfortably after they die.
Yeah, it was
What
a
I
question.
asked for. What did I ask for? What are you supposed to
Has
hit
anybody
when
ever
you
forced
send
you
a
to
question
have
in
sex?
to me?
Or forced you to start a family? No.
Hello?
A question.
You're supposed to ask a question. I went over that the first week of class.
Yeah, the problem from the what's it, the real math labs. What is?
Yeah, My Lab Plus, you're supposed to hit ask my instructor, and it's supposed
Yeah.
to send to me. Did you do that?
Yeah, I tried to, but it wasn't working. It was being unresponsive yesterday. That's why I emailed you the question instead.
A is equal to pi over 18. B is equal to pi over 9. 4 pi over 9.
I'm gonna make her mad.
So what does this look like?
I'm sorry, I've got it as low as I can. I gotta hear him for just a second.
Please mute your mics, please. Unless you have a question. Cosine of pi over 18 plus 4 pi over 9. That's what it looks like. It looks like the additive identity, cosine of A plus B. Need parentheses here. That's what it looks like. Huh? Yep. Now just get a common denominator. Now I'm going to 18 2 times 4 pi is 8 pi. 8 pi plus pi is 9 pi. So the cosine of 9 pi over 18, what is 9 pi over 18? Pi over what? Cosine of pi over 2. And the cosine of pi over 2 is 1. And that's a good test question because it's just sweet and simple. Now, if you wanted to change it, you change this, change that to 180 over pi, and that gives you 10 degrees. 180 over pi, and that comes out to be 9 over 1 there, 80 degrees. And 80 or 10 plus 80 is equal to 90, and you get the same answer. So you're good either way. Every one of these questions on the test is exactly like I said. You go to the identity, you look it up, and you do it. Homework is pretty easy if you even did it. And those of you who did the homework, I'm not fussing at y'all. I'm really pissed at this class for the way they're doing it. Take. There's two types of people in the world. What are they? Givers and what? Takers. Some people take, and some people give. And I really don't feel like I've been treated right as far as the homework goes. Here they're wanting you to do sine of 2 theta. And they want you to find cosine of 2 theta. So you automatically go to the identities where it says sine of 2 theta and cosine of 2 theta. You're going to be using those. They're giving you sine is equal to negative square root of 7 over 9. And I think they also says that the cosine is positive. Cosine of theta is greater than 0. So they're saying cosine is positive. So this is the question that was sent to me. I think it came out of Miss Simmons. I think this is your question. I think it came out of 9.2. That first one I think came out of 9.1. I'm not sure. Okay. Wherever. I only had 2 questions sent out of 15 students. I only had 2. So that means that there's 13 people in here that know everything. I think that's the one we just got finished doing. Here, you can do this. Yeah, you're going to yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right. So in this case, what's the first step? We went over one like this in class. What's your first step? Pythagorean identity or Pythagorean theorem, whichever one you want to do to find out what the cosine is. So I know that the sine is positive where? Here, all students have calculus. So this triangle has to be in this quadrant or this quadrant. The cosine is positive, so it's where? It's in the 4th quadrant. So just take your individual eraser and erase that 3rd quadrant because it's not going to fit there. So you've got 9 here, and you've got negative square root of 7. So take your handy dandy Pythagorean theorem. You go 9 squared minus the square root of 7 squared is equal to a for the adjacent. And that's going to be the square root of 81 minus 7 equal to a, and the square root of, what is that, 74? I'll check on that. So the square root of 74 is equal to the square root of 74 is 8 something. So it's about 8. So that fits in with this being 9 and that being 8 point something, this being 2 point something, 2.5 something, whatever the case may be, 3.5. All right, so cosine of theta is equal to Oscar had a hump. So that's cosine of theta is equal to a hump would be square root of 74 over what? 9. Now you've got your cosine. Now you've got your sine and your cosine. Now you can plug it in to these two. So, go ahead and
I see what I did already.
Say again?
I see what I did already.
Good. I'm glad you saw what you did. That's the whole purpose, sending in questions. But if you don't do your homework, then you don't send in questions. And you wait till the last minute to do your homework. Where am I? I'm at home. and you have questions. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out you're supposed to do homework the day after I go over. Okay, and I can understand you have other classes. I can understand maybe going over the homework a couple of days after. But when I looked at the homework and I saw 12, 15 students, and I saw like 4 were the only ones that did anything, I just saw red. Because y'all have just not been doing what you're supposed to do. So now I've already got the test, it's already assigned, and y'all probably not going to do good, and it's not my fault, because I've covered the material. The fault is yours, not Russian. It's yours, because you didn't do what? You didn't do what you were supposed to do. And I'm just looking at y'all because y'all are the only ones here. So I'm just kind of irritated. Okay. So, the sine, if you go by the double angle, where's my notes? I don't want to mess up. So, sine of 2 theta, and it irritates me when people Skype in and they don't have their stuff together. It irritates me when they Skype in and it's like 20 minutes after. Okay? Of course, y'all don't do that, but, you know, most of y'all don't do that. I'm just very irritated at this class. Maybe after Thanksgiving I'll be nice to you. I don't know. 2 sine cosine. And that's going to be 2 over 1 times negative square root 7 over 9 times square root of 74 over 9. And that comes out to be, I got negative 2 square root of 518 over 81. Ms. Simmons, is that correct? Do you remember doing that problem?
That is correct.
Okay. And now I want y'all to do cosine 2 theta.
So I did this the Pythagorean and then again. I'm going to do the differences.
Sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1, right?
Yeah, we said a cosine squared equals 1.
Sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1. Or cosine squared plus sine squared is equal to 1. And sine squared is what? So negative square root of 7 over 9 1 squared plus cosine squared. That would be a positive 7 over 81. Okay, I'm going to erase cosine of 2 theta is equal to 1 minus sine squared, 1 minus 2 sine squared, 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. So that's going to be 1 minus 2 times negative square root of 7 over 9 squared. So that's going to be 1 minus 2 parentheses, negative squared is positive, 7 square root of 7 squared is 7 over 81, and 81 over 81 minus 14 over 81, I got 67 over 81. And that should be cosine of 2 theta. So the sine of 2 theta is equal to that, and the cosine of 2 theta is equal to that. And that's the 2 questions that were sent in for homework. Now the test, I made out the test and posted it today. Do you have a number and a section of your question, Mr. Crittenden?
Yeah, the section was, I'm pretty sure it was from 9 point, let me look back at it again, but I'm pretty sure it was from 9.4 or 9 point, it's whatever the sum, it was sum and difference identities, and it was, the question was to find the exact value of the sum and difference identities.
Wait, I'm not fussing, but do y'all see why I get y'all to send Ask My Instructor?
Yeah, I tried to every single time I try to do it, it wouldn't work.
Lab, pulled up your homework in the lab and sent it from the lab.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand. I'll do it next time. I promise.
I'm just saying, the Ask My Instructor, I told y'all at the first of the week, first of the semester, I gauge the class by Ask My Instructor. Well, I can't do anything with this class because y'all don't even do the what? Y'all don't even do the homework till the last minute. By then, it's test time. So, I'm going back to the, well, where'd it go? I must have got out of it. Hold on a second. Now it's not letting me. There we go. Math 111. So just hold on a minute. I'm going to pull up your homework because that's the only thing I got to go by.
Well, actually, I have the question right. I have it right here.
I don't do the written thing. I don't do that because sometimes, not you, but sometimes students write down the wrong stuff and then I end up going crazy pulling my hair out and I'm trying to do another problem. It's not even like the one they did. All right, which section is it? You look at the screen.
I was thinking that it was from, let me look one more time. I think it's from 9.3. But I'm not, it's whatever was the sum and difference. If somebody else could help me out.
Did you do it or did you just have to do it?
No, I did it.
Okay, so it's one of these two. All right, look on the screen. Here's the first one that you got. You did, but you only have to. Oh. You think it was 9.2? Huh?
No,
Sum of difference was 9.3.
That's 21.
Yeah, we did in the beginning.
Well, he said he did it.
well, no, I didn't complete it. No, it's not this.
Y'all
That's the
see
ones that
why
we just did.
it's important to send.
Yeah.
That's the one we just did.
Yeah.
The one like it.
It must have been from a different section. I'll go back over it. I'll look it up and go back over it.
Well, you can't get into it because the homework's closed.
Oh no, I mean like just on something different.
All right. Well, you think it's on another homework?
No. What I'm saying is I'll look it up online or something. I can look over it myself and I'll figure it out.
Well, I don't want.
I just don't want to waste. I don't want to waste anybody's time.
Heck, nobody else did any homework. So, what about 9.5? You think it's in 9.5 or 9.6 or 9.4?
I'm trying to look over my notes. I'm looking over my notebook right now, trying to look
What does
where
it,
I was having trouble.
tell me what it says.
Here, let me. Some difference. It was with the formulas. Here, I've got it right here. It was rewrite the following as sum/difference, 2 sine of 58 degrees, cosine of 102 degrees.
That sounds. Say it one more time. Let me write it down so I can look at it.
Okay.
What does it say?
It says 2 sine of 58 degrees and cosine of 102 degrees. My question was, do I plug it into the sine of A, cosine of B, like the formula, like the identity, or do I try to solve it right from there, like plug in the numbers and
Cosine
solve
of
it?
58 times the cosine of 102.
Yes, sir.
then that would be the product of sum identity. Okay, I'm going to write it on the board.
But it was 2 sine of 58. That's why I thought it was, I thought you had to apply the double angle identity first, but I wasn't sure.
You will on that one if it's 2 sine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I'm looking. Hold on a minute. Yeah, that if you got a 2 in front of it, then you're going to put that. I thought you said 2 cosine. Did you say 2 cosine?
Yes. No, it's 2 sine of 58.
2 sine of 58
Yes, sir.
times the cosine of 102.
Yes, sir. And that's really the one I wrote that down because I had a problem with it.
You got sine and cosine, but hey, we did that in our we did that in class. Somebody looked that up in their notes. I think we did that one in class because remember the 2 takes out the 1/2. And tell me what section that is. No, it's product of sum. We did that in class.
Yeah. But there were similar questions like it. I just wanted to say, like, I wanted to go over that concept.
If I can find the section, what section is it? You know?
I think we were working on 9.4.
58 cosine of 102. We did it in class.
Yeah, no, we did that specific question in class, but it was the similar topic that I was having trouble with.
Okay, what section was that? Huh? I know, but do you have a section? What section did we cover that day? 9.3. So let's look at 9.3. And I'll just try to find it this way. As the old saying goes, everything's for a reason. And y'all just look and see if you find it and see if.
Oh, well, I guess it's getting close to it right there.
I'm looking. There's one.
I couldn't figure that one out. That's the one I was getting close to.
That's probably the one you wanted to send in.
Yeah, more likely because I started it.
All right, 2 sine of 40, cosine of 94. Go ahead and write that down. And remember I told you, just pull the 2 off to the side. Remember I told you that day, remember? Pull the 2 off to the side and just focus on the cosine or sine of 40, cosine 4. Because you got A and B. So I've got 2 sine of 40, cosine of 94. And we know A is equal to 40, and B is equal to 94. And we know sine cosine is going to be 1/2 sine of 40 plus 94 plus the sine of 40 minus 94. Y'all check me and make sure I got the right one. And then that's going to be equal to 1/2 times the sine of what's 134 plus the sine of 40 minus is negative what? Y'all help me now. 94. 40 minus 94 is negative what?
Negative 54.
I'm sorry, what?
This is a negative 54.
54. And what did I tell you about this? Remember in the notes, what did I tell you about this right here? How could you rewrite that? You can put the negative where? In front.
Right there in front.
And y'all know what? We did this in the notes. When y'all have a problem, sometimes you can find the answer in your notes. It's called going over your notes. I'm not talking about you, Mr. Crichton. I'm just talking about everybody. Sine of 134 minus the sine of 54. I don't know. I think that was as far as we needed. And the 2 does what with the 1/2?
It cancels it out. I remember asking this.
After this. I don't know how far they want you to take it. And I can't say that's another thing. When y'all don't send it in, I go look up, I can't type in the answer and see if it's correct. So I don't know what the answer is, but that would be close to the answer.
Okay.
Do you remember what the answer was, or did you even? Okay, it says do not include the degree symbol, so they're just wanting it like that, probably. Question on that?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you for clearing up for me.
All right. Now the test. I'm not going to go over the test. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. It's called reciprocating. Y'all know what reciprocating is? Yeah. So you're getting what y'all are giving. So I'm just going to show you the test, and then y'all can figure it out. So let's go to chapter content. Assignments. Where's the assignment? Put this in test. Hubert's Unit 2 test, identities. Start test. And it's going, I don't know why, I got to fix this, but it's putting all the bonus questions at, I think I know why. Hold on just a second, let me fix that, because I know why it's doing it. How do I get out of it? Submit test. Cancel, submit test. Okay, get out of it. Just go away. How do I get out? Oh. Okay, assignment. Manager. I didn't even give y'all multiple attempts. So, didn't even give y'all time limit. Boy, y'all can tell I was irritated. There we go. Scrambled question order and save and assign. Now let's pull it up. Well, yeah, I'm not going back to that. I can go to preview right here, but I'm just going to write down the questions. I'm not going to go to it. You can just see it. Preview. There we go. All right. Write the following items of sine and cosine and simplify it. 1 minus sine squared. Yep. Shouldn't have gave you all that one. I should have made it difficult. There's one we just did. And we also did it in the notes. So you have 2 or 3 questions like that one. A bonus question. Solve the following equation. What does that look like? That's a quadratic. Remember those where I even did completing the square with them? So the first thing I would do is complete the square. Cosecant. No. Well, no, you can't do completing the square because these two are not the same. So you got to change one of them to the other. Cotangent, you can use Pythagorean identity. 1 minus the what? Cosecant squared. I'm just going to put Pythagorean identity change to cosecant. Okay. All right, give it to me again. What is it?
It's the original is cotangent.
Yeah. Cotangent squared
plus 1 equals cosecant.
plus 1 is equal to cosecant squared. So 1 minus cosecant squared. I thought it was. Cotangent squared is equal to cosecant squared minus 1. So you take that, put it right there, and then distribute the 2 and keep going. Shouldn't give you that much, but I'm trying to be nice. Some of y'all do. Some of y'all appreciate it. I realize that. All right, what do you do with that one? It's not a quadratic, so what's the only way to do it? Tell me the first step. Good. 3 on the other side. You're solving it like an algebra equation. Keep going. Did you get your hair cut? Well, it looks good. I just didn't recognize you. Okay? Yep, divide both sides by 6. You get 1/2. Cosine of theta is equal to 1/2. You can do it by the special angles, or you can do the inverse cosine in your calculator of 1/2. Next question. Bonus. Bonus. I think half of them are bonus questions. I can't see. I didn't see. No, I'm looking for the challenge question, the one that I put in. Okay? What do you do here? Okay, don't make it difficult. Set them both equal to 0. It's just like when you factored in algebra. Set them both equal to 0. And then you got the previous problem that just showed you. You got it. You solve it linearly. Not linearly, but like you would solve a linear equation. Next. Again, linear. 2 tangent x plus 1 is equal to -1. Bring the 1 over, bring the 2 over, divide by 2, tangent is equal to something. Grade book, final grade. Overall grade, if it goes down, it means a 0 has been placed in for an incomplete assignment. Zeros make grade go down. If you find your final grade, you complete all your assignments, which you should choose overall grade. Everybody knows that one. When is the final? When is the week of finals? 4th to the 11th. There we go. Use a cosine sum or difference identity to find the exact value. Now it even tells you, use cosine sum or difference. Well, hold on.
Because we had a homework question that was like that, and if one of these was the half angle,
You can.
and then do something else.
Well, if you did that,
Because it's
You have a work email.
well, the thing is, you got to multiply. See, the half angle is the sine cosine of pi over 2. So you got to multiply it by 2 and then do it. Huh? Yeah. 5 pi over 2 and 2 pi over 2.
For what?
Yeah. You can do it however you want to. You can do the sum of difference, or you can put it in the half angle. But if you put it in the half angle, you got to multiply that by 2.
And then that goes.
And then plug, yeah, you got to.
That's how I showed you on the homework, so I don't
Yeah.
know how to do it just.
Well, if you look, I did one of these in the notes. Cosine of 7 pi over 12. Cosine of 7 pi over 12. Don't answer me why. Well, first of all, if you use the half angle, it says the cosine of theta over 2. So you have to multiply this by 2 over 1, and that's going to give you 7 pi over what? 6. So now it's cosine of 7 pi over 6 divided by 2, and now you can use the half angle. So A, or theta, is what? 7 pi over 6. Theta is equal to 7 pi over 6, where if you didn't do this one step, you would be saying 7 pi over 12, and you'd be wrong.
Yeah, I was comparing it to degrees.
Well, you can do that too, but if you did that, then you could plug it into the sum and do it like that if you wanted to. So 7 pi over 6, well, pi over 180 over pi, and the pi's cancel, 6 and 180, 30, 210 degrees. And 210 degrees is going to be,
Plus or minus 1 minus that.
yeah. Okay, well, I'm thinking, yeah.
And I have a question because on the homework is when
You got a work email.
figure out we're getting one of the plus or minus, like what determines that.
Well, okay, first of all, let me put this over here. So, for those of you at home on Skype, hold on a minute. Here, this right here is theta, okay? But if you use the half angle identities, you got theta over 2, okay? So therefore, you've got to find out what theta is. So you take theta, 7 pi over 12, and you multiply that by 2 over 1, so you can find out what this theta is right here. And that's going to be 7 pi over 6. 7 pi over 6. And 7 pi over 6 goes here. So if you're using the half angle identities, 7 pi over 6 over 2. So theta is equal to 7 pi over 6 if you use the half angle. All right. If you use the other, then use the sum or difference, then you could do cosine of 4 pi over 12 plus 3 pi over 12. Okay? Now, one thing I would do I would find out what this is. 7 pi over 12 times 180 over pi, and 6 will go in there, what, 2 times? 6 will go in there at 30, and 75 degrees, what is it? What does it come out to be? 75 degrees? Well, 2 will go in there, 15. Okay, 105. So what's 105? 105 is 60 plus what?
60 plus 45.
So you can go that route. And you know your special angles for 60 and 45. So here you can go this route with the sum or difference. And if you wanted to use the half angle, you could use the half angle. But you've got to do this step before you use the half angle.
I think I know why I was having this because it wasn't one that used the special.
Okay.
It was like 115.
All right, yeah. Then you would have to, you're forced to use it. Mm-hmm. Now, here's your question. You said, how do you know what to use? Well, if I give you sine of 60 plus the sine of 30, all right? I know that's easy. But you go right here, and yours says sine plus or minus sine is equal to blah, blah, blah. And it's got a minus and a plus over here or whatever.
I know the plus or minus for that. I was asking about the half angle. Because the half angle has the plus or minus behind it. And I don't know.
Oh, any radical. Any radical. So if you do all the math, and you get, let's say, I'm doing 1 minus cosine of theta over 2. And you got a plus minus, okay? So this is totally different from what we're doing here.
Yeah,
this is
sorry.
just an example. All right, let's say you do 1 plus negative 1 minus cosine of 45. Okay, you know the cosine of 45, Oscar had a hunk of what? of apple. A hump would be, yeah, so that'd be plus or minus 1 minus, 1 minus square root 2 over 2 over 2. And then you'd have to change this into 2 over 2. So that'd be plus or minus square root of 2 minus square root of 2, 2 minus square root of 2 over 2 over 2 over 1, which is multiplied by 1 over 2, which is going to be equal to positive or negative square root of 2 minus square root of 2 over 4. And then you can take the square root of 4, that would be 2. Yeah, and then you'd have positive or negative in front of this, and you just leave it like this. This would be your answer, except for take that out and make this. So my eraser's not
the
working.
homework wanted us to put a positive or a negative in front of it, and so it would randomly say, well, I wanted you to have a negative in front of it, and I didn't know why.
That's only if you change it, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't. That's a challenge question. If you do that, then come see me after class, and I'll give you credit.
I think maybe if you wanted me to change it to have a negative in the front and a positive underneath the square root. Maybe that's right. I don't know. It's weird, and I was like,
Just see me, because you don't need to expand that. That positive or negative right there in front of the radical is enough. Okay. Was that the next question? We're going over. Okay, what we're doing next? Are we? Next question. Okay, here we go. Same type question. This is one that you solve with algebra. And one of the reasons I did all these with algebra is because, like I said, most of y'all going into calculus. Your first unit test up to your second unit test is nothing but algebra. So I wanted to keep that algebra, going. That, you bring the 3 over, you get negative what? 4. Cotangent of x is equal to negative 1. So inverse cotangent, but you change that cotangent to what? 1 over tangent, and then solve for the inverse tangent. That's not a big deal. Okay? When is the last day of the semester? December 4th. Okay, this is one where I'm looking to see, I haven't solved the equation for the interval 2 cosine squared of theta sine squared minus. You could factor out a cosine. That wouldn't work. What else could you do? Well, that cosine squared, what could you do on this one? You know it's algebraic because you're dealing with what? You're dealing with quadratics. So what could you do? You could factor out the cosine. I didn't know if that would help or not. Yeah, you could factor out the cosine. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Cosine 2, cosine squared theta, sine theta, minus cosine squared theta is equal to 0. Cosine, and that'd be 2 sine theta minus 1. Yeah. So I was right with my initial, and you were too. The factor out of cosine, and therefore you just have 2 algebraics now. Cosine theta is equal to 0. 2 sine theta minus 1 is equal to 0. And now you've got 2 algebraics. And that's why I wanted to make sure on this test you stayed with the algebra. I mean, we did a lot of problems where it's just plug and chug. I don't have a problem with y'all plugging and chugging because I can teach my son how to plug and chug. I mean, that's not a big deal. What's a big deal is if you can use the identities and then use the algebra to change it. That's the main thing. All right, next. How is it counted? You all know that. Okay, now this is one that if you miss it, please don't tell anybody. I put this on as a freebie. What's the answer? Well, you go to your negative functions. And what is, where is it? There it is. Cotangent. It's negative cotangent. So, golly, you don't even have to write it. Anybody want to bet me breakfast that somebody will get it wrong? No. I don't think I'll take that one. And, okay, that's self-explanatory. Okay, I still haven't seen the challenge question. There it is. If you miss a question on a test and you believe it is correct, what do? Call Hubert's office 5 or 6 times. Ask Hubert if you can meet him after class. Send several emails to Hubert with the last one saying, hello, scream and throw a tantrum. I think it's A. I meant B. I'm sorry. B.
It's A. I'll be sure to call you back.
Okay.
I bet.
Really?
I bet.
You got people that don't listen the first week of class. You see that with some of the stuff that's happening right now.
I bet parents of like kids that are still doing like the crossover high school, college.
They're having fits because they can't get that. Well, my boss, now she does get on me about all kinds of stuff. But when it comes to repeating myself, she knows I don't repeat myself. And she says, first thing she'll do, if you call up there or you call up there and fuss and says, Hubert's not calling me back, first thing she's going to ask you is, well, did you cover the material the first week of class? That's the first thing she's going to ask. Because she knows that I cover it. And not only do I cover it like over and over that first 2 days, and then I put it on video. And people still don't watch it.
So here's a question. You have like 3 class days left.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is the game?
I'm going to try to get 5 chapters of material in 3 classes. That's what you wanted to hear, what? Okay. I'm going to go until I run out of time. Whatever I run out of time on is what you're responsible for the last test. So if I go to 10.1, then your last test will be a test on 10.1. If I go 10.1 through 10.5, then the last day. But chapter 10 is easy. It's basic math stuff.
The final
Covers everything on your test. Which I'll cover all that the last day of class. Last week of class, I'm going to cover. When y'all come back from Christmas break, I'm going to cover everything. Huh? Whatever break it is. Okay? All right. So, y'all have a test to take. You don't have any homework to do because you didn't do it. So, I don't know. Hold on. I'll pull it up so y'all can look. What you're supposed to do is go look on My Lab Plus. You're not supposed to ask me. But anyway. Whatever. Excuses. It's Russia. When is it due? 11/27. That's when y'all come back from Thanksgiving break. No, I ain't doing no freaking in-class test. I don't know what we're going to do. And y'all don't have to come Tuesday if y'all don't want to. Oh, shoot. That was on recording. Oh, well. I just